All right, we are live. Welcome to, where's my camera? There's my camera. We are live in my living room. This is our Resilient Living podcast. I'm here with my friend Ryan and Stacy. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Stacy?
Yeah, hi. Thanks for having me out today. I'm really excited to be here. I am a little nervous because I don't do podcasts. So.
Good, no worries.
Not usually live, right?
Right. I usually can kind of collect myself because I'm on YouTube and TikTok. So live is a new game.
You get to edit it all in, make it all perfect.
I can make it look like I didn't say a lot of times. Okay. So that's where you can find me though. I'm Stacy Sustainably Ing on TikTok and Birds and Herds on YouTube. And I share a lot of what our family is doing off-grid, doing sustainable living, agriculture, homesteading, all with the family.
Sweet. That's awesome, which fits in perfectly with what we have, we talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for being here, Stacy. We're excited to get to hear about your journey because, I'm always thinking more about what can we do off grid, and you've been through it actually. So we were talking pre-show multiple times. So yeah, we'd love to dive in and start to hear about your journey.
Yeah, I'm happy to share.
So can you tell us, first of all, a little bit about how you got here in Tennessee? What made you think about going off grid, being more sustainable? What was there like a point at which that became something that you really started thinking about, or is it always just been a part of what you do?
Right. So coming to Tennessee was its own thing. Like I was born off grid and I was raised until I was 12 off grid. So that's kind of always been in my blood. And I've always known what that freedom was. And so I always wanted to go back to that. I was always that weirdo in the city that would sneak chickens in to an HOA.
That's funny.
And I'd be growing gardens in pots outside my windows. So like it was always who I was. But we came to Tennessee because we wanted a fresh start from where we were. We wanted to buy land and start building something for the future. We had a friend in the area and was like, hey, come check out Tennessee. So we traveled out here, saw it, fell in love. The people were normal.
Yeah.
Well, for the time we came, people were normal. And then when we got here and we got to know the Quirks, and I like them. They're just your good old backyard, back hills.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No. Good old folks.
They are.
So we bought land and we had planned on like building a house and just like building something here. But we were not planning on going off grid because my husband was like, I don't know if I want to do off grid. Like there's a lot to figure out with that.
So you had to talk
off gridders are weird.
Well, that's what I was
fanatics
ask
to hide.
Was, yeah.
Oh, did we just go to the mountains of Tennessee to hide like weirdos, So there, and a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
But we were not intentionally building off grid until we discovered that the spot we wanted to build, we couldn't get utilities to.
Okay.
And so
it's very pragmatic.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So we had utility companies quote what it would take to get utilities there. And we were like, it's going to be $30,000 to get utilities to our site. And then we would have to clear the land, take down trees, and have a monthly payment after.
Wow.
And we're like, let's look into solar.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, my friend Sean Mills, like somebody gave him the challenge of, okay, tell me how solar can pay itself off. And he's like, well, if you purchase land that you can't get utilities to, or it's going to cost as much to get utilities
it paid for itself
to,
right there.
It instantly pays for itself.
Instant payback.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then water was a whole nother thing too. Cause like to bring water back. And then like, I like to make my bills lower. I don't like to increase my monthly bills because it stresses me out. Like what if we have a time where we can't work and then our bills are higher than we can manage?
Well, and you're in Van Buren County, so you don't want our water.
Exactly. I don't want any city water.
Our water is not good.
Does any city have good water?
Ours is like Flint, Michigan, kind of bad. Like we're bad.
Yeah.
Like it's bad.
I'm glad I never drank it.
on a monthly basis of how badly we've failed the inspections.
Oh, that's really
So
encouraging.
you're actually way better off.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And so I teach a class on like how to buy land or how to think about buying land. One of the things we talk about is the idea of if you have to run utilities somewhere with water, you have to think about not only are you running it really far, so you're paying for a lot of pipe, but the further you run it, the more you have to think about pipe resistance, which is, or drag inside the pipe.
Right.
And so now you have to use larger pipes for a longer distance, and it becomes astronomically expensive.
Yeah.
So what did you end up doing for a water source?
Well, there's really only two options for water. There's rainwater and there's groundwater.
Yep.
And we get a lot of rain, so we went with rain.
Wow. So you have a full water catchment system, filtration and everything. So can you explain what your catchment system looks like? I mean,
it looks like the roof.
Yeah. How big is your roof?
So we have a small house. We built something that's kind of small with the intention of it becoming a shop when we're done. So we're going to build another house.
Nice.
And so this is like our prototype. We could figure it out without making something really big. So our catchment size roof is about 1,000 square feet.
Right.
Which makes it really easy to do calculations off of.
Right. Nice even numbers. I love it.
And so we did metal roofing so that we'd have a cleaner surface. And then we did oversized gutters to make sure we caught everything that would be coming off. Sorry. You're good. And then we did covers, some screens over the water
to keep
the gutters,
large material out.
Yeah, so we wouldn't have to worry about it filling up with all the debris and leaves and stuff. So that's like the first layer of filtering, and then it goes through from the downspouts into a first flush. Okay. So then all that dirty stuff, all of the bird poop and the dust and the pollen from the trees, that's getting washed into a separate tank. And then once that fills up to whatever you've calculated your roof needs to have for washing, then a ball valve closes that and the clean water goes into your storage tank.
Nice.
And so then we have a 2,500 gallon storage tank that's buried 3 feet in the ground to keep it from freezing through the winter. Mm-hmm. And then we have a shallow well pump that pulls that into the house.
Nice.
So that'd be kind of like basically a jet pump or something similar.
It's just called a shallow well pump. We picked it up from Harbor Freight.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not anything fancy. I was trying to design this. There's not any like blueprints for this. And so we're like trying to figure it out. Okay, here's what we have. Here's what's available in this area. Here's what we can pick up today because we need it today. And we forgot we needed to plan for this. We can't have it shipped in now. And so like you have so many puzzle pieces that you're trying to work around. And then you also have like your day job. And then you're still working within a budget because you still have to live off of your budget too. And so like there's so many factors that go into it. At the end of the day, you're just like, well, here's what we can do with the time and the money that we have. And
plumbing is always interesting too, right? Because there's like 10 different types of pipes you could use. And every pipe has a different type of connector. You could do compression fittings or, slip fittings, or like there's so much to it.
Yeah.
And so when I design those systems, I like to try to design them with parts that are locally available. Mm-hmm. So you can run to the hardware store when something breaks.
Exactly. Sourcing all that material can be a challenge.
Yep.
So like our house is built like a normal house. And then how the water gets in and how the water leaves is different. But like inside the house, all the wiring is normal for like how you would have a house in the city with lights and outlets and everything. And then our water comes out the faucets like normal. We don't have to pump a well to get it in there. Cool. I know, actually it'd be kind of fun, right?
I should have one for backup.
I should, huh? But we don't need backup very often because it's working.
Yeah.
So what happens to the water once you've used it? Do you have a traditional septic system? Do you have something else set up?
No, for the gray water, and gray water for the listeners is anything that doesn't have feces in it. So like your kitchen sink, your bathtub, your bathroom sink, it's just anything that's not the toilet is gray water. And that can be cleaned and reused for watering your yard. So all of our gray water is going to a reed bed. And then we don't have a septic right now. we're doing compost toilet, and then we have plans. It's all planned. We have all the plumbing in and just waiting for the septic tank to be installed. But right now we're doing composting and we're doing reed bed. So like, I don't think a lot of people think about where their water comes from. And I don't think anybody thinks about what happens when it leaves. Like how many people know that their drinking water was their poop water?
Yeah.
In so many cities. And cities especially, because you get out rural and then you have
some freshwater supplies, some alternate methods.
More people are on septic tanks, and so you don't have the sewer going in. I remember driving by we called it the poo fart plant. That's what my kids called it, and that was you know what it is, right? The water facility, like they're treating the water, and there's just big cesspools sitting out there, and it smells horrible. That's everybody's water that they got done with. And then they just don't even think about it. You're like, oh, the goldfish died. Flush it down the toilet.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ignorance is bliss and all.
Yeah. So nobody thinks about where is it going and how does that clean? And so you're not contaminating the environment, because that's so important, especially when your environment is also going to be feeding you. It's going to be your orchard. It's going to be your garden of some kind. And to have disgusting water that had a goldfish flushed down, that's not kosher.
Well, and what a great environment for your kids to be raised in, where they do know exactly where their food comes from. They do know exactly what happens with their water, whether it's coming in or going out. All of that. That's such a fantastic way to live life and to be raised.
This reminds me of. So I don't know if you're familiar with the 12 principles that David Holmgren, I can never say his last name right. So he had 12 permaculture principles, and one of them is produce no waste. And so it's this idea that most of what we consider in the Western world as waste is potentially a valuable asset.
Right.
And so you look at farms, and when they're farming, they've got all the poop from the cows that they try to get rid of.
Yeah.
And it's
like we were talking about duck water, reutilizing duck water. That's a phenomenal resource for your garden.
Yeah, good fertilizer.
It's liquid gold. I mean, just put a dump valve on that sucker and run it right in your
bed.
Your
swale, or your bed or your whatever. Yep. Yeah. So I don't know. That's just what that made me think of. But could you explain a little bit more what your reed bed looks like, what you're using for material? I assume it's gravity fed, but that's assuming, and we know what that does. So if you could give me a little bit more information about that reed bed.
Yeah. So we're in the very beginning stages. We're still in camp zone. Like we're still camping because our off-grid house is so new. We haven't finished a lot of the construction. Like we still got to texture the bathroom. We got to paint still. So our reed bed is not installed right now, but we have the pipe going to a designated area, and we're making, keeping track of that, making sure everything is cleaned. But we don't have it going into the reed bed now. Yeah. I do have planned to make it a concrete, almost like a pool. And we're going to fill that. It's going to be lined with like a pool liner. So then it's sealed. Sure. And then filled it up with large rocks on the bottom, and then keep going smaller until you're at the top where it's just pea gravel. Yeah. And then we'll have grasses that will be the reeds that will soak up and eat all of that nutrients that's coming out of the house. And then we'll have like a faucet valve on that. So as it gets full, we can have a hose on there and bring it out to orchards. And I have planned where my orchards are going to be going. And
nice.
So it can also just be opened up and let go into a swale, but we don't have it built yet.
Okay.
We're still working with where we are. We've only been off grid for 6 months, and we started with just camping in our house. We didn't have water when we first got in there. We were hauling buckets.
Oh no.
Yeah, we started out just camping in our house.
Yeah. Wow.
So when you talk about camping and hauling water in, I know one of the big things that really people struggle with when they start doing something like off-grid or even being more sustainable is they'll end up putting a whole bunch of time into like one little thing. And it sounds like hauling water in would be one of those things. What have you done to make life a little bit easier or to stop being spread quite as thin.
Right. That's something that we're like continuously asking ourselves on like a weekly basis. What can we do that will make our lives easier? What system can we build and install that will make things easier for us? Like, we don't want to have a hard life. We don't want to spend every single day just trying to survive and haul in water and then haul out waste. Like, we want to be comfortable and we want to have all the necessities of life. So we're always asking ourselves that same question. And when we first got in there, we were trying to beat winter because RVs in the winter are just the worst.
Yeah,
and we
they
have
are.
little kids. And so our main goal was just to be warm.
Sure.
So we did that, but everything was too frozen. We had our water tank in. We had enough rain that it had filled enough we would have water. But before we could get the pump running, we had a freeze.
Oh, of course.
And so, of course, like everything was ready to go, but we had a freeze. And so we had to just camp it out for 3 weeks until we thawed out enough that we could get things up and going again. But yeah, like hauling water was like just the worst.
Yeah.
It's not
heavy.
light.
Yeah.
It's heavy. Yeah. And then you really become aware of how much water you use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
That just hauling each buck and being like, well, here's one bath.
Well, in one way that might be good though, right? Because if you've got limited water resources because you're collecting off the roof, starting with, I've got to walk it in every time, people start thinking about, especially if you give the kids the chore, like, hey, you're pouring your own bath. Yeah. Then they're going to start thinking about, oh, that's a lot of water.
Well, it's I teach my kids not to think of money in terms of money, but as in time. It's like you're not spending, it's only a couple of dollars. No, that's, hours worth of work that you're spending. Is it worth the hours of work that you put into earning that couple dollars?
Exactly.
And so when you have that correlation, that direct correlation of
Mm-hmm.
the effort to the use, then you're going to be a little bit more judicious with your use.
Yep.
Definitely. And my kids do that. Like, we have a smaller pressure tank. And so the well pump has to come on every, I think, 20 gallons. And so every shower, it comes on. Like, you've been in there for 2 cycles.
It becomes a metric.
Yeah, now it's a way of measuring. And then with how often it rains, how much water we're getting per rain. And then we check the weather constantly, and we're like, okay, everybody, as a family, we got to be conscientious of our water consumption because it's not going to rain for the foreseeable future. That means we're just taking quick showers. We're not taking long baths.
Sure.
And so it's like everybody in the house though is very aware. Even our youngest, who's 7, he's very aware. And we have our solar battery up there that has visual of its state of charge, and then how often the water pump turns on, we can hear it. So he hears and notices these things, and he's very aware of what consumption is. And he's not the one that's leaving the faucet on while he's brushing his teeth. He's aware, oh, we got to turn this off.
Awesome.
Yeah. So everyone's just very aware and considerate, and they're not like the amount of waste that would happen in a normal household my size is so much less.
Sure.
So you talked about your power system. What did you end up going with, and what were some of the considerations for that system?
Oh, that was really tough because I'm new to solar, and that was I don't know anything. I didn't PV. What does that mean? Right. I was starting from the ground, solar, that means power. Okay. How do you get it there? So we went with one of the easiest systems that, as a beginner doing a lot of research, I went with the easiest thing that a DIY could put together.
Sure.
So we went with the Signature Solar's EG4 series, and we love it. We love it. It keeps up with everything that we need.
Nice.
We only have half of our panels up right now.
Okay. How many kilowatts did you end up with? Do you remember?
At the end of the day, or I don't know. We got stuff on all day.
Right.
We have, and also that's like terminology that is hard to understand if you've never been around it.
Sure.
So it's like kilowatt. What does that mean?
Yeah.
How long can you run your hair dryer? Oh,
Well, because you've got your kilowatt array, like how many watts of PV or array do you have? But then you've got kilowatt hours. How many?
Right. And then
How
you-
much storage do you have?
yeah, amp hours and
Yeah.
volts
Mhm.
and watts. And you're
Mhm.
like, how does this all come together?
Yep.
That's a lot. Like it's a lot.
It
And
is.
as a beginner going into it and being like, how do you convert that into even understanding what you're looking at?
Yep.
Sure.
So I did a lot of research and I had to talk to somebody else that did solar to even understand it because it was like such a foreign language. It's really a language.
It is.
You start getting like SOC, PV, like, what are you 00110? Like, I can't speak your language. I had to go through the manuals and be like, okay, what'd you say? Let me find out what the definition of that is.
Right.
So we were starting from the very ground level of solar understanding. So to get a system that was plug and play like the EG4, that was just the best because we could understand that
Sure.
and we could install that. And then I had been doing a lot of just monitoring what power use was because while we were in our RV, we were still on the grid in the front of our property. And so I would just be like monitoring
So you had a
usage.
baseline of where you were. as far
Yeah,
as
and
your
it was
consumption.
terrible. It was terrible. So wasteful. All of everybody's going to be so shocked at the waste of power. But that got me thinking how wasteful everybody is. Like, how can we cut back on things? Okay, there's a lot of things you can get that are very power efficient. Like, you don't have to have a generator for running a lot of things if you just buy nicer appliances. And like one of the biggest things, okay, here was my measurement of power. I have a Ninja Foodie, and it's a pressure cooker
Yes.
and an air fryer
Yes.
in one, and they use a ton of power. And I remember showing it to my brother who was off grid, and I was like, this thing is the coolest thing. I love it. I use it for everything. He's like, oh, maybe I'll get my wife one of those. And he looks at the back and he's like, oh, 1500 watts. Nope,
Yeah.
I can't get that. That won't work on my system. And I was
Yeah.
like, is that a lot? So then when I was
Sure.
looking at stuff, like, can I run my Foodie on that? Like most women are a hair dryer, but I'm like, how can I cook with it? So like that was my measurement for how many watts, and like,
Sure.
and then try to, Google constantly how to change amps to watts and watts to amps and what is volts and like all of these
Yep.
terms and try to just understand it. And so then we came up with, we're probably just going to rough it because you don't know until you're in it.
Right.
So we got a
Unfortunately.
system that we felt like was going to be comfortable because we like our main goal is to be comfortable. We want to feel like we're in
Yeah.
a city setting where we have power at our disposal and water and like air conditioning. Like we want to be comfortable, but we're okay with roughing it until we figure out what that actually means.
Right.
So we kind of been roughing it.
So have you run out of power?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we
And
have
what is your solution to that?
generator backup.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the backup. Or play cards
Right.
by candlelight.
Go to
But
bed when it's
romantic,
dark.
The ambiance.
There's been a few nights where because we only have half of our array set up,
Sure.
building a whole place by yourself is a lot. And my husband and I and our 13-year-old son built our homestead from the ground up. Like we were
Wow.
doing concrete, we were framing and doing all, like every bit of it was us. So like we're still working on a lot. We got enough solar up that we could have refrigeration and we could have lights and stuff. And now
Nice.
we've got to get more up. And we had it all planned so that we could be comfortable, but getting it all up at the same time was like a lot.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
we'll be getting it in soon. I just ordered the parts and I'm so excited. And air conditioning.
Nice. Did you go with the EG4 hybrid?
Yes.
Aren't
I'm
the-
so
I've
excited
got-
for it.
Unfortunately, I went with the 28 SEER unit instead of the 22 hybrid. I wish I hadn't gone with the it is more efficient, but it doesn't have the solar integration. I wish I had gone.
Oh, I'm so excited for
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I think it's the only one on the market that does it.
I've dug around a bit.
As far as I know, it is.
Yeah, as far as I know. And I was looking at it because I was like, how is there some way of doing this? Right. So I think you could make the same thing yourself, but it would cost a little bit more.
Yeah.
So makes sense just to buy it.
They have reasonable prices on there.
Yeah.
Especially for that mini split. So
well, I recommend EG4 systems in most cases to people, partially because they've done such a good job with bolt-on capacity. So if you want to add an inverter, you bolt on an inverter and that's it.
Which a lot of systems don't support that kind of expansion.
Yeah, and even their smaller 3,000 watt unit, which is one of the things I start people with. It's great because you can just keep expanding it up to like 32 units.
Wow.
And it also has a really high voltage input, which is great because then you can string a whole bunch of panels together and not worry about as much, at least, about the size of your cabling. So anyways, I've been a big fan of that system as well. Because of how integrated it is and it's just well thought through.
Yeah, it is. I love how buildable their products are. Like we started with one wall mount battery that's 280 amp hours. And that will get us through, if we're being very conservative, that'll get us through 4 days of no sun.
Nice.
And then we can get another one of those. So then out here, we get a lot of storms that last for 2 weeks before we see the sun again.
Right.
So we have planned on getting what we need for now and then expanding on. And I love that their products are like buildable. Like you can start with it and then you can also like get another inverter and more batteries. And then you can have like a whole workshop going, welders and stuff and charging your cars. And
yeah. And they come with, even the smallest ones come with a option for running either on grid, so you can charge up while you're on grid if it gets too low, or using a generator. And they've got generator triggers, so now you can tell it to start your generator when your power gets to 20% on your battery.
Like ATS, and you can just automatic transfer over.
Yep. So it's really forgiving for those who are going off grid for the first time. If you just hook your generator to it, you can keep going, and then you can figure out how to be more efficient about your use.
Exactly.
So cool.
Yeah. Or figure out how to get all the arrays put up.
Right. So going off grid, I'm sure there's things like, I don't know, insect control that we don't, I don't think about it a whole lot other than screen door on my house, but
sure.
Is that something that you have to deal with?
Or
think about a lot about?
The bugs were ubiquitous. Like you couldn't get anywhere without them. And I'm kind of a city girl, but I'm also a country girl, but I don't like my bugs. So I'm like a city girl there. And when I have to dispose of 4 spiders before I can go to bed, I'm like, this isn't good. And then we kind of cut our way into the nothingness of the forest, and it is tick central. Oh, the ticks are horrible.
Yeah.
Yep, up there in the forest. And it's never had anything. There's never been anything ever. And so the ticks are just like, you could see them crawling. While we were building our house last summer, it's under construction, and we're out there, we just see ticks walking across the ground, like on our construction area.
Yeah.
We weren't, that wasn't even into the tree line. That was just where we had already cleared.
We have some fairly nasty ones. We've got the Lone Star. So you get alpha gal from that.
Yep. Oh, there's every single kind of tick imaginable up there in the woods. I'm telling you right now, it's horrible.
Yep. So have you done anything about the ticks, or is there anything that you've found that's worked well for any of the insect and bug issues?
Yes, absolutely. Chickens.
They go,
chickens.
Dinner time.
Oh, yes. They really do. They take care of ticks like nothing else. It's amazing. So the first thing I did when we got settled into our house, and it's like, okay, springtime is this time. I got to get some eggs incubating right now. So they're old enough to be set free into the woods when the bugs wake up. So I got my biggest incubator out and I had batches going. I was trying to get as many chickens hatched out as possible
Oh man.
because I knew it was going to be bad. And it was. As soon as our days started getting above 40 degrees, the ticks start coming out, the spiders start coming out. Like it starts getting so crawly.
Yeah.
And we're just seeing ticks everywhere. But after about a month of having, what do we have? We have 30, 30 chickens right now.
Oh wow.
And no ticks. None.
Nice.
No ticks at all. It's amazing.
Yeah. A lot of people will go to guineas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guinea fowls are good for that. Yeah.
They're excellent. They roam a bit more. They're a little bit more predator resistant to an extent. But they're so noisy. So if you don't want the noise, some people do, but I've started recommending game birds or game fowl.
Sure. Well, yeah, because
So-
especially if you want the eggs,
Yeah.
you'll never
Yeah.
find a guinea fowl's egg.
No, you're not going to find a game bird's eggs either. So
Oh.
they're kind of like the wild cousin. They're a chicken, but it's, you know, the what do they call them? Game roosters or anyways, they're fighting roosters essentially is what they're used for oftentimes. But they're more like a wild bird.
Mhm.
And so they're not as loud as a guinea, but they'll roost in a tree and, you know, clean up ticks pretty much as well as a guinea.
That's nice.
So yeah, it's kind of a cross.
So they still scratch like chickens do.
Yes.
Because that's like the biggest thing that what I like about the chickens versus guinea hens.
Mhm.
The guinea hens don't do a lot of scratching. They don't do a lot of that pest disruption.
Right.
And the chickens are just tearing everything up. They're scratching every bit of the ground. Leaves are just being turned over. And so that helps a lot disrupting the pest cycles. And then we also brought in our pigs. And so we have pigs tractoring through the forest. And we started everything as close to the house as we could bring them without them like rooting over the propane tank or something, you know?
Mhm.
And so we brought everything as close to the house as possible to start taking care of those pests.
Sure.
So the pigs are turning everything over. They're stomping the ground to practically nothing. And then the chickens are going in there behind them and eating every little teeny thing. And yeah, between the
Nice.
pigs and the chickens, they've really taken care of, like, we don't see any ticks anymore. It's amazing. And just our first year, I thought it was going to take longer, but with the amount of birds, and I also have over 40 ducks right now too.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they hatch themselves out. Muscovy ducks. They're
I was going to ask. If
Yeah.
they're Muscovy, so it's like,
they go
Good mamas.
broody and they go crazy. So we have more ducks, and I didn't even try to get ducks. But they go through and they eat a lot of the foliage that also is a house for the pest. So we have just armies of, we got pigs, and then I've also got some goats, and then I've got the chickens
roving
and the
gangs.
ducks. And they do. Yep. Sometimes there's rivals.
you should put a webcam up there. You can just track them. Put that on YouTube. Have a channel just for your.
Oh, that'd be
animals.
fun. I don't know if
Yeah.
people would watch that as much as the robot lawnmower.
Oh, there's that.
Because
Oh,
we
Nate
got serious
Nate's,
competition with
yeah.
that.
That's
Oh,
funny.
Tim's got his. Timcast has got his chicken coop is on a live stream
Yeah.
And
It does look-
inside the coop.
inside the coop. It does really well.
Oh,
I've not checked that out.
It's pretty funny.
Now that all reminds me though of Sepp Holzer, who's this Austrian permaculturalist,
Mhm.
and he doesn't speak English, but somebody asked him like, well, what if I don't want pigs? Because he was explaining how to do something with pigs, and he goes, well, if you don't want pigs, you've got to do the pig's job.
exactly.
And it's the same with, you know, pest. You know, let the chickens do their job. Let them do what they want to do anyways.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool though, that you've gotten rid of all the ticks around your house essentially.
Mhm.
And when that can reduce medical bills, it can reduce disease issues for your family, and it brings you eggs, and it brings you entertainment. You're like, and with the Muscovies, that's a lot of free meat.
Oh, it's my
That's
favorite meat.
incredible.
It's so good. They are delicious.
I've
They
been
take
wanting
the
to get-
place of beef.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot of space, but I could definitely do Muscovies. And we've just started raising a goose and some ducks. And so I'm kind of getting my bearings with that and figuring out all the little things they need. But I'd like to add Muscovies at some point because
I like that they're quiet.
Mhm.
Like they're not high strung. You get the other breeds of like ducks
Yeah.
and they're so loud. They're high strung. They're going around like they're just wired. And then you have the contrast of the Muscovy ducks.
They're just chill.
And they're just chill. They sit around and be like head bobbing. Like, they don't care. And they don't quack. They're quackless. So the males will hiss. And it kind of sounds like an old lady laughing, like like their hiss is cute. And then the females do like almost a pigeon coo.
Oh,
Interesting.
Yeah, they're
That's
really they're pleasant to be around, and there's just like no high strung. They don't fight as much as a regular duck. So if you have more in an area, there's less fighting. But still, too many animals in one area is a problem.
Yeah.
Well, and they're not as cute as, let's say, bunnies.
That's true.
And so, like, I could never get away with meat rabbits on my homestead because I've got 3 little girls.
Yeah.
Oh, the cute factor.
Yeah.
It's real.
But the Muscovies being a lot less cute, objectively less cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be easier to well, stomach is what I was gonna say, but
Yeah,
see what you did
I
there.
love the rabbits. I didn't think I was going to. That was the one animal that I was resistant on.
So you do rabbits as well?
I do, yeah.
Wow. So what breed of rabbits did you go with?
I have a mix.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not picky. Like, I like to get local animals because they're hardy for the environment.
For the environment, yeah.
So they have all the genetics of whatever disease or
They can handle the
weather
humidity
pattern.
and the heat. Yep.
Exactly. So I'm not picky about purebreds. I would just want something that's going to have all of the requirements of grow well and handle the environment. So I have they're a mix of New Zealand, Californian, and I have one that's a mix of Rex in with those.
Nice.
And so I'm just like getting all the meat breeds, and I like them because they're really quiet.
Yes.
They are so quiet. And the reason I got them in the beginning was for compost. I didn't even want to eat them. Like that was the last thing I wanted to be doing.
Sure.
But when you have a homestead and you're being sustainable and you're trying to produce your own food, you like, okay, let's try it. Let's breed some and let's try it. And the compost was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And it tastes like chicken.
Yeah.
So if you can get past the cute factor, which is real, it's like legitimately an issue for most people, then you can enjoy chicken, quote.
Mm-hmm.
My kids can't trust me when I cook dinner anymore. What are we eating? Is it rabbit?
It's meat. Shut up. Yeah.
That reminds me when I was a kid, we were eating this really great barbecue and later learned that it was our goat.
Oh,
that's rough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't like a super friendly goat, but it was, we had never really bridged, I don't know. What do you
discuss that one?
Yeah, we never really discussed that that's what we were going to be doing.
Awkward.
Yeah, I can't remember that goat's name, but it had a name. So
gosh.
Yeah. Anyways, that's funny. It's rabbits are, I feel like it's a hard bridge to cross.
Just mostly from the cuteness factor.
Yeah, I mean, breaking
Well,
their necks is a hard.
Yeah.
Like I struggle already with processing a whole bunch of meat birds.
right.
So
Well, and rabbits are a mammal. So it's like you're going from fowl to mammal,
It
and
is different.
It changes. Yeah, even though it's like the same size as a chicken, then like, oh wait, it has kidneys. Like that's the same thing I have.
right.
It really changes from going to a mammal from fowl. And
well, so I was a hunter, so it's different. Like if I'm going out hunting, I'm
Right.
taking game versus like I'm putting it in a hopper popper, and that's different. Then that's my struggle is, okay, I'm killing this thing that trusts me, and that's rough. But yeah,
well, I truly believe that animals understand your intent, and there's like that whole unspoken part of this world that animals understand that we don't quite understand. Like, how did they know you were there before you even knew you were there? And I think that there's this whole other realm to our environment. And when I'm raising an animal that's going to be my food, I'm grateful for the moment it's born.
Absolutely.
And I have it in that certain place in my heart where it's not a pet. We don't love it like a pet. We appreciate it for what it's bringing to us.
Yep.
And then when it comes time to do the hard part, I always say,
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then I send it for its higher purpose.
Mm-hmm. As humanely as possible.
Yeah.
Just, yeah. And back to, the kids, what a great environment to raise kids in, to have that connection to the food and that appreciation for that sacrifice that's being made.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. More people need to know where their food came from.
Right? Like, why don't we just go to the, supermarket? We'll just get the chicken there.
It's ridiculous.
That was an animal. You understand that, right?
How many people have asked me that on my TikTok? Why don't you just go to the store and buy meat? Like, do you know how that meat got there?
Yeah,
it was treated horribly.
Like, this is actually better. Trust me.
When my middle daughter learned how to handle a remote enough to get on YouTube by herself, she wasn't supposed to.
Uh-oh.
Oh, they figured out so fast.
Yeah. I walk in and she's probably 4 at the time. She's watching this video of how mass-produced chickens are produced and slaughtered.
Oh,
perfect.
She thought it was really interesting. And I'm watching, they've got this thing that sweeps chickens into a machine.
Yeah.
And so everything's just automated. This
Brutal.
is crazy. Yeah. And it just made me more appreciate how important it is that we're raising our own chickens, not only for our health, but for the health of that chicken, for the decency towards, in my opinion, what God has made and entrusted us with is taking care of things.
It's stewardship. It's fundamental stewardship.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, a lot of people have them, and some other off-gridders that also have content sharing how to do the off-grid thing. They're like, don't bring in animals. That's the last thing you need to be bringing in. Don't do a homestead that's off-grid. That's so hard. That's putting extra stress on you. And I was like, I'm already bringing in the animals. Was this a huge mistake? Did I just make my whole life so much harder? And then I started thinking about, most people don't have their animals working for them. Mm-hmm. I have all of my animals doing a job. They're all contributing to the system and feeding us. And we're setting up watering systems that are thought out in advance. So I know that I'm bringing in a whole bunch of chickens. And so we plan for larger chicken roof catch and more container. We're just, every roof and surface area they can catch is catching water and storing it in some way, so that all of our yard animals have water. And then they're mostly going out and finding their own feed. But I really thought hard on that, though. Did we make a big mistake bringing in animals? Because there's one creator specifically that I don't know if we can name drop, but I won't, just to be respectful. And he was really big on not bringing in animals. Don't start a homestead. And how honestly got to me. I got nervous. I was like, oh, we just messed up. We're trying to go off grid, but we just made it really hard. But nobody makes the animals work for them. The job that the pigs and chickens are doing this year for us, invaluable. We would not be able to do it at the level that they are. And we don't have to do anything but make sure their water is full.
Well, I guess when you're thinking about animals or even plants in the terms that our typical farms are laid out, where you have these segmented areas, like that is for cows, that is for pigs, and then you have to supply all of that infrastructure. You have to do all that work to maintain them. I could see why they might consider that to being arduous and this excessive, effort. But when you're doing it the way you're doing it, you're solving a problem and getting a wonderful byproduct.
Exactly.
Especially pigs. What an amazing thing. It takes your scraps and turns it into bacon. There's nothing better.
There's not. Like
Yeah.
that is the perfect system right there.
And they keep your forest floor clear,
Yeah.
and they do all kinds of
And they're funny. They're so
they are.
funny.
That reminds me of another of Holmgren's principles, which is integrate rather than segregate. Which another way of saying that is function stack.
Yeah.
And it means you take the function of one thing and you stack it or nestle it with another thing, and all of your things should be fitting together as essentially a web. That they become more resilient because of that, and you become more resilient because of that. And it's healthier because these systems are stacking together in a way that each of them plays off of the other.
Yeah.
So that actually makes it easier. And again, with Sepp Holzer, if you don't want to do the animal's job, or if you don't want the animal, you have to do the animal's job. So if you set them up to do the job, that reduces your workload.
Yeah.
My big caveat with that is if you don't know how to raise that animal yet, if you haven't had hands-on with that animal, then be careful about taking on too many too quickly.
Right.
But if you know their patterns, if you know their behaviors, then it makes sense to use them to do the jobs that you don't want to.
I think chickens, I recommend chickens all the time. Chickens are easy. They're the gateway because they're easy. And then you'd be like, I could bring something else.
Yeah.
And the chicken does so many jobs and it feeds you in so many ways. It's like the chicken you bring home from Tractor Supply and it's cute. So it's feeding you with the cuteness because it's fluffy. And then it's going outside and it's scratching, it's disrupting pests. And then it gets older and it starts laying eggs. And so then you're feeding and you got to clean out the chicken house. And so you have all this rich nutrient manure that goes into compost, and then you put that in the garden, and now you're growing tons of squash. You can't even eat all the squash, and then you're feeding that back to the chicken. That chicken's waste just became the chicken's food, and then that's going to turn that into an egg for you. Like
it's just
chickens
a win-win
by themselves are like a complete system.
Yeah, I always tell people if they can put their chicken coop right next to their garden, because then it's a rotten tomato, or it's a rotten squash.
Yeah.
Or here's a weed. I don't want these seeds to come back.
Exactly.
Goes to the chickens. They eat it and then.
And if you can have the chicken run kind of around your garden, they're going to keep the pests.
Protect. Yeah.
They're going to be a barrier for keeping your garden cleaner.
Yeah, chicken tunnel or chunnel.
Yeah.
So there's a few other names for it too.
A lot of people have asked me, like, composting is so hard. Like, how do you make a lazy compost? I'm like, chickens.
Yeah, right.
They will turn it. I don't turn my compost, and I have readily available compost year round. And I have to rake it back into a pile because they'll spread it out. But just go rake it back into a pile is easier than turning.
Sure.
And so here's an easy system. Chickens, and they love it. Chickens love to have animals. People think that if you're using animals that it's cruel. No, animals love to have a purpose. They love to have a job. They do something naturally. Yeah. So let them do that thing that they love to do naturally in a way that's benefiting the system.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And I personally have never turned a pile of compost.
Congratulations. That's wonderful.
Yeah, my chickens do it. I could probably make slightly nicer compost.
Oh yeah, sure.
With a slightly better fungal and bacterial, makeup, but I don't have time for that. I work a full-time job.
Right.
Probably two really. My wife stays home with the kids. And so I don't have running a household off of one income. I don't have time to turn a compost pile once a day for multiple weeks. Like I don't. But chickens do. Chickens have all the time in the world to do that for me.
Right.
It could really step up your compost though.
Yeah.
Rabbits. You're gonna have to get over it. You're gonna have to let your girls know.
So we have pet rabbits.
Oh, that's not enough though, is it?
No, it's not. It was acceptable to me though, because I was like, okay, you girls will really enjoy these and you'll take care of them. That'll be your thing, right? And we'll get some additional, fertility for our garden out of it. So I'm okay with this. But if it weren't for the fertility part, I would have probably just said no.
Yeah.
So
that's the whole reason I got rabbits in the beginning. And now I'm like, I really love the meat of it.
Yep.
So it's the only sustainable white meat source. Like you can't do that with chicken. It's just not as fast.
Oh yeah.
And you can't do it year
You're
round.
growing out in what, 14 weeks?
I don't even do that
You're
one.
not like 12 weeks in and you're
between
done.
10 and 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're done.
And as
And
long as
you
you get
don't
them
have to-
in a cold bath, right after they've been dispatched, they're stay tender. They're really good.
And they have a mom.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that's kind of sad because they have a mom, but
Well,
she does all of the hard work for you. She keeps
Mhm.
them warm. She keeps them fed and all you like they're the easiest things to raise. They're so easy as long as you can keep them healthy because rabbits are very susceptible to disease and parasites.
sure.
But as long as you can keep them healthy, they're so easy and quiet and sustainable. Like you cannot do that with a chicken. The amount of resources that it takes to raise that many chickens, like as many rabbits as I'm raising, to have that many chickens raising up for meat, I just couldn't do it.
Mm-mm.
No,
No.
they take so much longer to raise up. And then not every piece of a chicken can be used. And
True.
every single piece of a rabbit can be used, whether it's going to the dogs or
Yeah.
it's going into broth.
Mhm.
And every piece is being used.
Rabbit broth.
Yeah, it's actually not bad.
I wouldn't think so. We put, you're generally supposed to like use broth that's from the animal with the
For
next.
that, yeah.
We mix chicken broth with sausage all the time, and it's actually quite good.
Yeah, I mix broth all the time. Like
Yeah.
whatever's it, I have some leftover rabbit. I'm gonna mix it with duck.
Oh yeah. You got that richness with the
Why
duck,
not?
and that works.
Yeah. All right. So, we got to come through on what we advertised, right? We're going to talk about some of the lessons learned or mistakes made on going off grid. What are some of the mistakes that you've made or some of the lessons that you've learned in that process?
Oh, so many. Like you learn this lifestyle is you really have to be the kind of person that likes puzzles because every day is a puzzle.
Sure.
Like this happens, a tree fell and like everything can be a puzzle or a catastrophe. And so there's just every day there's something that is happening. We have way more rain than we expected, so we're getting washed out. So we got to do some
I say because you had some
mitigation.
issues with your driveway, didn't you?
We did. We put in this big, long 1,500 feet driveway
Wow.
to our house site. And then we got 8 inches of rain in one night. That was absurd. There's so much water, everything washed away. But we had carefully planned for every low spot to have a culvert, and we oversized our culverts for planning for the future. And so what was catastrophe for a lot of other people, we were okay. We just lost some gravel and we had to like go shovel that gravel back up because 8 inches is so much water in just one night.
Right.
And we woke up to that and we were like, should we have been sleeping?
Well, and with our hills here,
yeah,
those valleys consolidate that water so quickly.
Yeah.
So somewhere else that 8 inches, I mean, it's going to be a lot anywhere. But here, especially once you're in the hills, it all consolidates to like one little point.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
my back meadow will turn into a lake
Yeah.
real quick because I'm the low point for all of these hills, and it just goes down into my meadow, which is funny because like when we bought this place, Ryan came and walked it with us, and it was dry as a bone. I was like, oh, maybe I could build down here.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
build down there.
Don't do that.
It is standing water. Like there's standing water in it for a significant amount of the year.
Which is why being on your property for a year before you start
Exactly.
like you did a camper, and it was more than a year, but you were there for at least a year, so you got to see all the seasons.
Exactly. Yep. And so we could plan where on the site was going to be the best for water drainage. So we didn't have to worry about flooding and which direction the winds are coming from. And the winds are different in the summer versus winter.
Right.
And you really have to plan for those winters because you don't want to have all of your doors facing the freezing cold winds that come blowing in here, negative 15 degrees. So like being on your site for an extended amount of time and observing, because you can get a lot of that data online, but to actually be on your site and make those observations in person, you're going to see something that would not have come up. Like that amount of water, even in a spot that you're like, no water would flow through here, but we just lost our 3 cubic feet of compost because water flew through here.
So would you have one thing that you think is like, I don't know, the biggest mistake you made, or the biggest thing to avoid when somebody else is looking at or thinking about going off grid?
I would say thinking that you know it all. That would be
pride. Pride is the hubris.
You're not going to know anything. You're going to get out there and having confidence is good, but you've got to stay teachable. Like if you're going to try to resist everything that's coming in, and you're trying to be off grid, like you're trying to live with the flow of the seasons, with the flow of nature. And if you're trying to resist it all because you know better, you're going to have a lot of trials that are going to be pushing, and nature's stronger. It's going to win every time. So planning I was fortunate to be on our site for long enough that we could plan for so many things before we built our house, because we could have been washed out in that rain. We could have had trees falling on us. We could have had not enough shade for this or not enough sun for that. And so having enough ample time to plan for worst case scenario so that you can avoid a lot of those mistakes. And we really haven't had a lot of mistakes because we were there for so long. Our biggest mistake was thinking that we could build sooner than we could. And we ended up staying in our RV longer than we wanted to.
But yeah, exactly. And you know, like I said, with our field and with the other areas, like, oh, okay, we have these kind of trees that, you know, they're going to drop all of their leaves. Well, then I can't have this here because I'm going to have too much sun then, or it's been really helpful having spent the time and not just rushed into building all of what I had planned. So
if you'd built a nice big pole barn down there and it gets flooded every season.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been helpful. Yeah.
Well, that brings up another point too, is that being consistently observant and actually thinking about, it's raining. Maybe I should put on a raincoat and just go walk through some of these areas.
Yes.
Absolutely.
While this is happening. Or, you know, it's the middle of winter. The azimuth of the sun is different. Maybe I should go to this place where I thought it'd be perfect to put solar. I mean, yes, we have great apps or whatever now where we can go and point our phone at the sun and see if it's gonna, but there's nothing really takes the place of actually walking out to the location.
Absolutely.
And being observant.
Yeah.
So, well, what have your kids thought of being off grid? Because I'm sure there's pros and cons with that, but overall, what have they kind of thought of it?
Well, I have 4 kids, and 2 of them are older. They're in the teens, and 2 of them are a little younger. And so there's kind of like this split where the teenagers are like, we don't have any neighbors. We don't have any friends. We can just go visit. Oh, yeah. And my 2 younger are like, this is the best thing ever. We don't even have to wear clothes. And so there's like...
I can sort of see my son's... Sorry.
So, you know, less laundry.
Yeah, right.
But we just have to make more effort for the older ones to see their friends. They've really kind of like climatized into the surroundings really well, though. I don't know, but really don't have any complaints. They all have their chores. They all help out around the house. They help out in the chores outside. They really have done well, and they are happy. They were really tan. They're eating out of the garden. They're eating fresh food that we grow.
Awesome.
They're limited screen time. They have tons of outdoor time. Like they can go jump on the trampoline. They can go play with squirt guns. They're like, their imagination is the limit. So like they're happy.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm not off grid, but you know, it's fun getting to watch the kids actually experience and experiment. Yeah, I think over the weekend I was working on a project in my kitchen and I hear squealing. And so I look out the window and there's my 2 oldest just flying by on their bikes. And it's like, kids don't do that anymore.
I love to see kids be kids.
Yeah.
But my kids still do have internet.
Mhm.
So, and full-time power. So they still get to, I think it's really fun that they can log in and connect games with
Sure.
their cousins and
Yeah.
friends in the West Side, and the technology is really can be so helpful if used appropriately. And but having kids that can go out and be real and connect with their environment and be
Right.
present.
Yeah.
Like that's getting lost in today's society. Nobody knows how to go outside and entertain themselves with a stick.
Right. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's really like if you use the technology properly.
Yeah, it's a wonderful tool.
Yeah. Because I know my kids have like taught themselves how to sew.
Oh, amazing.
And some of that is being able to go on YouTube and look up different things, or like they've been making pop-up cards or whatever it is. They can go and figure it out. But the other thing is, I always try to tell them, if you're going to look something up, use the scientific method first. Create a hypothesis. What do you think? Before we look anything up, before we go and find the answer on Google, what do you think about this thing? And then we'll sit and we'll talk about it, and they'll give me their ideas on, oh, this would work because of this, or, this is what would happen if you did that. And so then they get to see the conclusion.
Yeah.
But they have to make a hypothesis first, which is what you do in science, right? You make a hypothesis and then you test against it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then they also start to learn about, okay, well, one, maybe what I'm seeing online isn't true.
So that's number one.
Let's figure that out. And then two, like I've got, now that they've made a hypothesis and they've said it out loud and everybody's heard it,
you can't go back on it.
Yeah, they can't go back on it. So there's this humility in being like, oh, that wasn't correct. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being wrong. So I don't know. That's part of my approach is I think kids can learn a ton online if it's structured properly.
Exactly. It's a tool to be used. I recently learned about Duradongos. Yeah, it's a mud ball. And I didn't know that was a real thing. I think that some of these things are just in like the ethers. And my 13-year-old son has been making a Duradongo. And I just learned that it had a name. Yeah. He was just making a mud ball that was really hard and really shiny. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. You made that. And then I found it on TikTok and I was like, oh, you got to see, this is a real thing you're making. And then so I show him that video and he's like, yeah, that's what I already made.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's just a big ball of mud that's clay mostly. Sure. And it's just been layered with dry and wet and dry and wet. And you're just like sanding it with your hands and you're molding it. And it just becomes very hard, smooth, and shiny mud ball.
Well,
and that's what my kids are doing out in the woods.
Well, and it's good for them too, because they're in the woods.
Yeah.
That's not contaminated soil, or it doesn't have glyphosate on it, or whatever else. And they're getting the trillions of organisms that are in that soil or in contact with their skin. I mean, it seems like it's a win-win, but
yeah. Sometimes my kids play in the dirt for a long time. They come in just covered and like it's in their mouth. And we're like, oh, I just got immunized.
That's right. What's it for?
What's it for?
Is the question. The mud ball.
The mud ball. Oh, the Duradongo. I think it's for looking at.
No, just purely aesthetic.
Yeah. Like having a big steely. Oh, look what I have. It's so shiny. It's just a big mud ball. And there didn't seem to be any apparent reason.
What culture is it? Like an African culture? Or
no.
Is it,
it looked like another backwoods kid was making it.
Made up his own term.
Maybe.
That's funny. Some nerdy homeschool kid learned some other language and then named his mud ball with that language.
Right.
Could be, at least. That's funny. All right. So I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about your go-kart, or not go-kart, golf cart.
Oh, yeah.
And what you've done with that and what your thoughts are on it. So could you explain what it is and how you're using it?
So we call it the Sun Cart. Because we turned it into a golf cart that is charged by a solar panel. And I had to do a lot of research on that because, again, we didn't know a lot about solar. So I followed another YouTuber and learned how to install a solar panel on my golf cart as the roof now. Took the roof off, put a solar panel on, learned how to wire that into the batteries, and now it's just charged all the time. Never have to plug it in. It's been that way for over a month, and we have not had to plug in once.
Awesome.
So we just have this golf cart that is our little farm car.
Right.
And is a 48 volt. So it's like got a decent amount of power.
Right.
And that's what I was looking for specifically. Something that we could use a lot. And I've loaded it up with like tons of cinder blocks. Like I've abused this poor thing. And it keeps up with everything, and I never have to charge it.
Are you getting a trailer for it soon?
I have a little trailer.
Okay.
We just have to figure out how to get the ball on the back of the golf cart or the sun cart so that we can hook up the little trailer. But I have one, and that's in the works. Yep.
So I've got a welder. You can just bring it over. It was funny. A couple weeks ago, we were talking, and I think we were talking about solar. I'm like, I saw the craziest video. This gal took a golf cart and she put. And he's like, I think she was replying to my comment, and because go back, I'm like, oh, sure enough, that was Ryan's comment, and that was you.
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
That was
that's
funny.
Weird. People talk about me.
I had some homeschool kid the other day, and he's like, yeah, the homeschooler community is watching your videos. They were like, because he was talking to me, he's like, they were really impressed that I got to spend the day with you working. I'm like, that's really sweet. And I'm just, I don't know what to say to that.
The internet famous.
Yeah, exactly.
Internet famous. It's a little weird to fathom because we're just out there doing our thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And then people comment something and be like, wait, you were talking about me at your dinner table? Then I think back of how many content creators I've talked about.
Yeah.
Oh, people are doing that about me now.
Right.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling.
It is.
Yeah, I'm sure it only gets weirder as you get more people watching your stuff too.
Oh, sure.
We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, your biggest following is on TikTok. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's where I got started. That's where I started dabbling in. I was never going to be a content creator. That was not like my goal. I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna build a big following. And no, I got on TikTok because I was like, my teenage daughter is getting on there. What is it?
Oh.
And so I had to go investigate what this app was.
Sure.
And so then I was just following some people, and then one of my friends on there was like, "Oh, you can make money on TikTok," and I was like, "Is that so?" And that's kind of where it started.
That's funny. You're up to what, 75,000 or?
No, you're making a big deal out of it. I'm almost 50,000.
Oh.
Yeah.
50,000. That's amazing.
It is. It feels like a lot. I don't know how to handle that.
How long have you been doing it for?
2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, this is my second year of making content. My first year, though, super awkward. Don't go look at those.
That's where we all start out. I mean,
I just started
in my living room. What are you doing?
I just started a new channel. No, nobody can find the old stuff.
Like, it's so cringy, right? To go back to the beginning stuff. You're so awkward. Your editing is horrible. Like, I'm still there. I feel like a lot of my stuff is still pretty awkward, but I've gotten a lot more comfortable on screen. Sure. Not as try to secretly pull out my phone and make a video anymore.
The hardest thing for me, I think, was hearing my own voice.
I hate my voice.
Yeah. And nobody, your voice is fine. There's nothing wrong with your voice. But when you hear it, you're like, that's not what I hear in my head. And that took so long. So I didn't even edit any of my videos for probably the first 15 videos. It was just like, I'll record this and here we go. But yeah. And, really the only reason I was doing videos was for my clients, because I kept running across this. Like, I'd try to explain, how do you tie chickens with compost, with wood chips, with your garden, and make it all work simply? And how do you make it not smell? How do you put all these things together and think about all this? And so I needed to be able to have a bit of a shorthand and say, this is
Just go
the
watch this
Victory
video.
Garden system. And
Perfect.
even though that's not quite the right term, it's like, here's a term I can use while we're on the consult, while we're talking, and maybe when we're on the phone later if we need to be. And when I'm done, here's a video explaining how I do it.
So helpful to have that visual, especially for somebody that, like, if you're designing a system for somebody and they don't know what you just said, like me with solar, I had to go Google and watch YouTube videos on what this term even meant and get a visual of it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I started doing with my TikTok as well. Is like, I had some people ask me, how do you do this? Okay, let me show you. That's how we learn. You show. And so I would do a lot of the same things. It's a very powerful resource. And somebody asks you, oh, let me just send you my video.
Right. Yep. And so I wasn't even expecting to get any traction on YouTube whatsoever. It was just like, I'll put videos up for, to help people out, like, friends and family, clients, whoever.
Yeah.
Now you've got a resource to, when I say Victory Garden, now you have a video you can watch and, re-glean some of the details about how you set it up when you're going to do that. And it's not big and I don't really care all that much, but it's been kind of cool getting it to see it take a little bit of a life of its own and see a bunch of other people start being able to use that content for their own.
Do you get a lot of people let you know that they've implemented your system and like how great it is or anything like that?
I'll get people who reach out periodically. Usually it's just in the comments. It's, either that's stupid and it won't work.
Oh yeah, those are common.
Like, but I'm showing you a working.
Yeah, right. Have receipts.
Right. Or all your chickens are going to die or whatever. Or it's, wow, that's really cool. I never thought of it that way. And we're going to try that. And I've heard back from a decent number of people, and it's neat to see, like get feedback. And sometimes I'll get feedback that helps me then refine it, make that, because I'm like, oh, that didn't make a lot of sense, did it?
Yeah.
That's my way of talking, or that's something I would think of, but I didn't realize that somebody else might not put two and two together.
Or add to your list of caveats. Hey, this works except for in this environment or with this specific circumstance. Yeah.
People are great at helping me figure out how things don't work.
Oh yeah.
All
They'll
the caveats.
pick it out, all the little pieces of how it won't work.
Yeah. I put up one of a outdoor, like a fully off-grid bathroom. So it's, shower with heated water, everything's solar, composting outhouse, all built into one. And the most common comment I got was, well, that won't work in my climate. And like the people were mad.
I literally, yeah.
Have you thought about moving?
Yeah, right.
Well, what about summertime? It'll work through the summer months.
Right. And so I have to, they clearly haven't read through the other comments. So I have to explain, this is a 3-season bathroom. It's not intended to make it through the winter.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not going to insulate it. Like, it's just funny what people will get upset about.
Yeah. It takes its own out. But I saw that on your TikTok and I was like, this is the coolest bathroom.
Isn't it?
Like, and you've already built it, and it is the concept that has been in the back of my mind of what I want to build. And so to see it in like real life application and how you've got it all set together, I was like, oh, he's done like the prototype. Now I can just copy it.
That's right. Yep. It's not too far away either. You can go to Hartsville and actually see it.
Oh, I could do a walkthrough.
Yeah.
I'll bring a towel.
I've added more to it since, so I got to do another video on that.
Yeah, share that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people who are going off grid, and like I said, it's not a 4 seasons thing. But to be able to have something when you're out in the field working to go wash off, or just use the bathroom without having to find a tree and feel awkward, it's nice to have.
Absolutely.
I mean, the tree thing builds character, but
there's that.
And there's that.
And leg muscles.
As a society, we've lost those squatting ability.
We really have.
You got any comments?
We do. Jared? Rocky Pines Homestead. All right, here, I can show this one. So, wanting to how we feel about the celebrity level of the subset of Homestead This would be you two. I'm not amongst. I don't have the followership.
Can't quite read it, but
Feel like it detracts from the soul and the deeper purpose.
oh yeah. So
At the celebrity level.
yeah, totally, because it's such a celebrity. No, I mean you look at like the trad wife videos or something. You're like, if you're on TikTok, you're probably like, I don't know, if you're dressing up to go milk your cow or something. It's
yeah.
like, yeah, that's not
Sure.
what you're really doing in real life.
Yeah, my account is not Instagram worthy.
Which
I'm
is great.
I'm
I appreciate
real
that.
on mine. I show up with messy hair. I'm never wearing makeup. I'm out there with like goat poop on me, and I'm showing you how to get something done. And then I see all these other like Instagram posts, and I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
I'll put my tutu on.
Yeah, right.
But I don't feel like I've changed at all, or like I have any kind of God complex, or like somebody will compliment me on my video outside of the phone. Like somebody in real life will compliment me and be like, "Oh, thank you. I'm glad. Did it help you?"
Yeah.
Like that's what my main goal is. Did that help you? Did you learn something? I'm glad that you liked it. I'm glad you thought I was funny. Like I like to make people laugh, and I'm trying to give them a message as well. So it's been fun for me.
Yeah. Well, and things stick when you can make people laugh.
Yeah. Breaks down their barriers, makes them more open.
Yeah, I hadn't considered that, but you're right.
Yeah, I struggle with that because like if I do make a joke, it's deadpan. So people are like, what was that comment about?
You gotta drop them subtly and then just keep going. So then the people that get them are laughing, and then everybody else like, there's a lot of people that don't get humor.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had to really be careful because I think I'm funnier than I am. And people don't understand humor. Some people like legitimately don't understand humor. And I have a nephew like that, and he is so funny because he doesn't get humor, and he'll be like, "Oh, that's a joke."
That's great.
And now I have to remind myself, okay, there's a lot of people out there. Not everybody gets humor. Not everybody has a background in like being silly and goofy. And so I try to address my audience. Like if I get a question that's like, how could you do that? How could you treat your animals like that? I try to put myself in their perspective, be like, they're in an apartment in the middle of a city, and they've never seen a farm. Like maybe they're genuinely asking.
Sure.
So I'm going to genuinely answer, here's how we do it.
Yeah.
And then they always comment back, no, you're a horrible person. Oh, okay. So you weren't actually asking how I do that.
Right. Yeah.
I think I made some joke in one of my videos about planting trees. And it's, you get the trees in a pot and they're like totally balled up. The root ball's really bad. So I was like shaking the tree to get all the dirt out. Make some joke about, shaking, good for trees, not for babies.
Oh no.
I had to delete some of the comments.
Yeah. Rocky Pine clarifying. So, people who speak at like homesteading conferences, I could see that where somebody who's they have arrived, they are that god tier of like, you must do everything the way I do it. Ergo, I could see where that could interfere with what we're trying to accomplish here. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it certainly can. I think there's people who, or even just like if you're traveling around speaking, oftentimes you're traveling to somewhere you're not familiar with. And so you're giving advice on how to do something that doesn't work in that environment.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I feel like that's where my background helps because I was born and raised in the desert, but now I'm out here in a humid climate.
So you've seen both sides.
And so I know both sides. So when somebody asks, well, what about an arid? Oh, I love arid. Let me tell you about the desert. I was born and raised. Humidity. I got your back because I have all this experience, and the humidity has its own challenges and perks. Like there are huge perks to all of the water.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, huge perks.
But just about every house you go, like for me, so again, home inspector
Oh,
is my
yeah.
other job.
Mold.
Go under all kinds of houses,
Yeah.
and brand new houses have mold
Black.
growing.
Yeah.
You know, it's
the humidity.
it's a challenge for sure.
Definitely.
But having the rain is nice. Having the water is great.
Absolutely. All right. Well, if there are any other questions, now is the time to put them into the chat. Aside from if any questions come in, is there any other closing thoughts that you have about all the struggles and lessons learned? Not to put you on the spot or anything.
Let me see if I can pull something out of my hat. I think the biggest challenge is mentally. If you can get your head around nothing's going to be perfect and you're always going to have something that you're working on, then just allow yourself to have like a breather. You're doing your best with where you are and you're doing a good job. So you're not done yet, but it's okay to take a breath and allow yourself to take a break, even though you're in the middle of a project. If you're exhausted, take a break.
Sure.
If you need, remember to feed yourself, drink water, and take some days off that are just for fun. Go float the river with your family and come back to it later. It will always be there. And if you ever get to the point where you're done, you're probably dead. So you're never going to get to an end zone. You're going to finish one thing with something else already lined up.
Sure.
It's always going to be progressive. So just allow yourself that space to breathe and be okay with it's not perfect.
I need to learn that one.
Yeah, we all do.
Giving myself grace is not a strong suit of mine. I don't
feel like many people do it for themselves. And that's why I think it's really important that we do.
I agree.
Do we have a couple more questions?
We do. What has been your most rewarding experience in homesteading?
For me or for Ryan?
You.
For me?
You're our guest.
Rewarding. We just dug out of the ground over 200 pounds of potatoes. And I wasn't even growing a garden this year. So that was pretty rewarding.
Yeah.
I just had some seed potatoes that I was like, I can't let these go to waste. So I threw them in the ground and I have strategically planned my garden on a slope with my beds running on contours. So every time it rains, it waters. And so I just threw those in the ground. I walked away.
Yeah. 2
months later, I came back, dug up 200 pounds of potatoes.
Nice.
Super rewarding. Like we had the whole family out there. My kids are like, I found the biggest potato.
That becomes a competition.
Yeah. We had purple ones and yellow ones. And they're like, I found a purple one. It's bigger than your yellow one, Nice. That was really rewarding and super fun to see the whole family out there. Like I don't have very many Instagram worthy moments, but that was
nice. All right. What was one thing that you want to lessen or eliminate in your homestead?
I want to lessen. That's hard because I kind of want to keep expanding. But I also
you focus on how to increase your efficiencies.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be even on the other side where what's something that you could streamline, something that you're working on to streamline a process that you're trying to.
The ducks.
Okay.
The ducks are so efficiently reproducing.
Oh.
That it's getting to be like a little overwhelming when it comes butcher season. And ducks are hard. They're a lot. They're so much harder than any other animal to butcher.
Oh.
And they're kind of getting like every hen goes broody with a clutch of like 30 eggs.
Oh.
Yep. And I had 5 hens this year.
Oh.
So the last one still hasn't hatched them out yet. But we've got so many. We have 40 ducks walking around.
Wow.
And they're delicious. Absolutely amazing. They're so mild when compared to a regular duck. The Muscovy ducks are so mild in flavor, really close to the texture and flavor of beef. But we got a lot. So I think also having easier chores, like to have water systems that are self-watering. We're continually working on things like that, of getting something easy to refill or that's going to refill itself.
Right.
And The ducks just make everything so gross, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tying those systems together makes such a difference. Anything you can tie together.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I really want to do, I haven't done it yet because we just got the ducks and goose, but is to put some type of swimming pond thing for them uphill
Oh, yeah.
above some swales, whether that's for your, potatoes or orchard or whatever. And then having that so that when I empty it, that water's going to a specific use.
Yeah.
And if you have swales on contour, it'll just spread out to everything, self-water, self-fertilize. I think so when you can set systems like that up, that makes a huge difference. Because I know for me, there's efficiency things. There's things that got fences that got thrown up or whatever because I just needed to do them right then.
Yeah.
Right.
And they weren't right, and they've worked, but now we're spending more time on it than we should.
Right.
And I know for me, that's my thing where how was the question phrased?
Want to lessen or eliminate.
Eliminate. Yeah. It's always going to be, my answer is basically always going to be workload. I want to eliminate as much workload as possible.
Sure.
By integrating and letting animals do the work, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Not turning your compost, not watering your orchards. Yeah. Like planting your garden on contour. Like I had 200 pounds of organic fresh potatoes and I didn't have to do anything. I never watered them. I never fertilized them, nothing. Just put them in the ground and walked away.
And if you know how to find contour, taking a tiller on contour is one of the few times I'd actually use one.
Yeah.
And to do that and then plant potatoes, or sweet potatoes for that matter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because they like it so much here once it gets hot. That'd be so you just go find contour.
So your idea of putting ducks at the higher point and then having that fertilized water go into your orchard gave me the idea of if we can use water more before it leaves our site, like water is our greatest resource and we want to use that as many times as possible. So I wonder if my gray water going through the reed bed got filtered from the house and then goes into a pool for the ducks.
Right.
And then from there, we're still at the high point. And now it's being a different kind of fertilizer. It's a little cleaner. You know, it doesn't have the pathogens from the house that would have food and stuff. Then sending that to the orchard to water and fertilize your grapes and your plum trees. And
the great thing about orchards, as far as pathogens are concerned, is that any woody plant is going to filter those pathogens out. So the fruit off of a blackberry plant or off of a apple tree, you really don't have to worry, at least not much, about cross-contamination unless it's falling on the ground and you've got some type of waste that's a problem.
Right.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So not repurposing that water for your vegetable garden.
Right. Yeah, because you definitely don't want to spray that on your leafy greens, right?
On your tomatoes.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yep. But something that's growing has a woody stalk and then has a fruit off of that, that's generally very safe from pathogens and even from chemicals. That wood actually does a good job generally filtering out a lot of that stuff. So
Nice.
And you can use things like a simple solar panel with a small pump, and that's it. No other devices in between. And you could, in your case, it sounds like you're still at a high point, but you could actually pump some of that water back up to a high point if you needed to, very easily, very inexpensively, and only when the sun's out. So lots of options to stack all those things together.
Using the resources and as many times as you can.
Yeah.
So one thing I didn't mention about our water supply is that we have a third level of filtration. So after it's gone into the tank and it's already been filtered from the roof and the divert, then it goes into the tank. And when that comes into the house, we have a 3-stage filter and a UV filter, just in case there's any pathogens that might have been on there from birds. So if anyone's worried about, there is more filtering.
Yeah, and that's probably good to note too, because if somebody goes out and does it.
Yeah.
Well, Stacy said,
Yep. yeah, I put in a system. It'd be interesting to compare notes, almost identical
Awesome.
to what you're talking about. Same type of pump, same type of, I think it's a 2-stage filter because it's for a garden, not for household drinking. But
yeah. Oh, the water's amazing. It's delicious. It's really good cold.
Right.
But no hard water. None at all.
Yeah.
Like my faucets are chrome and I never have to clean them.
Yeah.
Never have to clean them. It's been 6 months and I never had to clean my chrome.
Well, and it should be pH neutral as well, which is nice.
Yeah. Yeah. It's luxurious. But for when that leaves, your gray water has to be treated differently, whether it's in the kitchen or if it's in the bathroom.
Mhm.
So your kitchen is going to have a lot
Yes.
of grease, and you don't want to send that grease out there because that's going to kill your plants that are trying to filter your water. So you need a grease trap, whether that's under your sink or along the pipeline outside somewhere.
Sure.
Make sure that there is a grease trap
Mhm.
and it's not just flowing out there. It's going to coat your all your pipes and it's going to contaminate. The grease is that's like the hardest one to dispose of. And I do
Sure.
a lot of rendering of fat
Yeah.
because of all the animals that we butcher.
Sure.
And it's all for our own consumption. So I have like a lot of duck fat and pig fat and even a little bit of goat, and not a lot of rabbit though. They're very lean. But with all that rendering, there's a lot of fat going down the drain, and it can really mess up your whole system by having that contamination going out.
I wonder if it is kind of gross, but if you've got a trap, like a grease trap, which are a really simple mechanism.
Yes.
Yeah, they're
You
super
could
simple.
skim that out,
Oh.
right?
Yeah,
Yes. I mean,
yum.
You
Get a
have
ladle.
to. Yeah. Not for human use.
Wow.
But what if you made essentially suet, but for your chickens? I don't know. I don't know if that's a good idea, but, or maybe
I mean,
I'm just trying to think
you
of
could.
ways to use that remaining. It's not a suggestion, by the way.
No.
Just
No.
trying to think of how you
Right.
use
Everything
that.
has to turn the problem into the solution.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So like you have old grease, that can become a fire starter.
Sure.
Yes.
Yep.
Definitely.
Put that in a paper towel roll with a toilet paper or a paper towel that's
Mhm.
been, you cleaned out your cast iron pan and then a little extra greasy grease on there.
I like that solution better.
Awesome. Well, it has been a pleasure. Where can our chat follow you at?
I'm really active on TikTok, but I'm moving more to YouTube content. So I'm on both platforms regularly. I'm Stacy.sustainablying on TikTok and Birds and Herds on YouTube.
Awesome. And Ryan?
I am Ryan Steva. I'm the homestead consultant on YouTube. So if you just search that, I tried to give it a really on the nose name so
It's good.
people would remember it. And mostly YouTube is where I'm at. I don't really have a Facebook page, and I'm trying to think. I'm on TikTok too, but I don't post there a whole lot. So anyways, YouTube is the best place to find me, and my website is thehomesteadconsultant.com. So you can find all my information there as well.
So for all of your homesteading needs, contact Ryan. And I am Jared Wilson. I am the owner of Resilient Living. We sell disaster preparedness equipment, books, ammunition, knives. I got a little bit of everything. So you can find us at resilientliving.com. You can follow us on YouTube at Resilient Living, on Facebook at Resilient Living. That's LIVIN, not living. And TikTok at resilient_living. So it has been a pleasure. Thank you both for joining us. And hopefully we can maybe do this again.
Yeah, I'd love to. This has been really fun.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Awesome.